everyone. Happy Friday, happy October. It's good to see folks online and just a chance to catch up. It has been an exhaustive week, so I'm pleased to have a chance to kick back and chat with people. Though I could swear my double darn window is not letting me see the top of the chat. What is this madness? Oh, Preston Cox is letting me know that he's going to be taking a break tonight for live stream chatting. So, Preston, we'll see you again later on, but have a good evening. Alrighty. So, let's see here. Just good to see everyone. Dusty's not with us yet. By my watch, he should be just getting off work and is making his way home. He'll sign on when he's comfortably ready, because I don't mean to rush or bully anyone into this. And after that, we'll talk movie. Until then, I have a request for everyone. Let's not talk about the movie in the chat until Dusty's here. That way, if people want to just hang and chill out and are still trying to avoid spoilers, that won't be a conflict for them. Now, granted, the #1 movie on Netflix has been out for a week, but you know what? Life is crazy, and I am certain there are people who mean well, but just haven't gotten to see it yet. Wow, that makes it sound like they've done something wrong. Oh, they mean well. No, they love the show, but time happens at its own pace. So, as I go all kinds of crazy, first off, Flitter Chris, thank you for hosting. Also, welcome to Safi Solar SMR, Ricky Alden, Daxcoon, and, oh man, I had quite a few folks follow me. MJS Film Co. 09, and, Agrodema. Good to see y'all. Also, on the Twitch sides, we have Helsing Ghost, Stefan EXE, hey, 333. Oh, Flitter Chris, who's sleepy in Norway. Ooh. Chris, that might be a fun alternative screen name for you. Sleepy in Norway. The new romantic comedy. Oh, pardon me as I just adjust my mic. Toakoi. Good day. And let's see here. Oh, Riverdale. That I'm Uncle Silver-Quill. Much appreciated. So, I will... And now, over on the YouTube side, I see Little Heart Raccoon, Jude, 3300, Ender Pup. You got a really big Lego. Did you have to Lego of your ego? Ranch Hog. Trinary, always good to see you. Commodore Steele, who was making a question about Kelpies being, I believe, Scottish. I thought they were. A Scottish legend. Makes their role in the Season 10 comics a bit confusing, but what the hey? Okoye Ohoro, also known as Silver Sky. Good to see you again. Bought the game Humankind. Very nice. Peppermint's parents. Commodra. Well, I said Commodra. Let's see. Oh, Champ to Stay. Good to see you. And the Flaming Gamer. As long as you're not flaming the comments. And this is probably right. Scylla the Kelpie. Hello. Good to see you. So, thank you for coming to my stream. And let's see here. Syncri. Cosmoni Inspira. Prince Apollo M480 Thunderbird. And, all sorts of good folks. Prism Shard and Cosmic Trail. And the new Lunar Religion. Oh, that's taking fanboy to a whole new level. And Deaton Cox. Along with the True Blood channel. Oh my god. That sounds very True Blood. Oh, that was a series. But I feel like it has an older significance. And good evening, High Clover. So, everyone, thank you for joining. Let's get a little music going while we await the return of the Dusty Cat. Shuffle. There we go. That sounded good. Let me know if it's too loud or if you can't hear me, because I know my melodious tones. Oh, yes. Oh, Cherry Fluffbelly. You're not late, you're right on time. Because the stream starts when y'all arrive. That's the way of it. Alrighty. Was watching SF Debris' review of Firefly today, where they got into existentialism. And here's a question. Just as is a ship if no one's on board, Is this stream worth anything if you guys don't show up? I mean, otherwise I'm just talking to a microphone. So, short version is I'm glad you're here. But what a time, what a week. Tell you all true, I have been going full throttle for the last several weeks. This has been the one time I gotten to slow down and take stock, which I'm sure Sweetie Bloom, who sadly can't join us tonight, she would lecture me quite thoroughly. Last weekend I had the pleasure of spending the company of my brother's dog, Jack. Oh, that was a new sound. What just happened? Oh, Kiara Brown, you donated $3. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, no wonder. The Ko-fi signal is a little... I need to make some room. I'm afraid my stream setup is still strictly amateur hour. But I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Now, let's see. So, here we are, working on this Sonic-inspired OC. I'll be switching gears in a little bit, but I want to always try to make progress on pledges and thank yous. Oh my goodness, you're right. Dusty is stepping over the chat. Well, Dusty, I imagine he's a fantastic dancer. I can guarantee you he's more coordinated than I. Anywho, let's see here. Oh no, this one, dude. Look at this. Look at this. This does not look natural. This is not proper shading. Harumph, I say. Harumph. So we're gonna try something a little different now. Rumpity, rumpity, rumph. We're going to try a little something called an envelope distort. And I call it that because that's what the computer calls it. Seems the gradient doesn't want to go that way. Well, phooey on you, gradient. I always knew you'd turn on me. Let's try something else then. So, how's everyone's week been? You're right, Pokemon Fire Eevee, that shading looked way too weird. This is one of the advantages of Photoshop over Illustrator. Shading often looks far more natural on Photoshop. However, as I still need to make a background and other elements for this, I didn't want to undo it right away. Bought Lego, got to get ears flushed. Ugh, ears flushed. It doesn't sound terribly fun. But as long as you're in good health, that's all I care about. Let's see here. Where do they hide the gradient mesh in this whole mixed up interface? The top of the screen is blocked by my microphone. Create gradient mesh. Ah, there you are. Let's go with 6 rows. And 5 columns? I'm just spitballing here. And let's make it so every color, let's see if this works. Everything is 0. Everything is 0. Wait, that sounds like the theme song of A Very Happy Nihilist, which I guess is a contradiction in terms. Huh? Nope. Well, that didn't work. Okay, then. Instead, I'm going to direct select and unmark these central points on the gradient. A mesh works like signposts in that it's saying, okay, between this point and this point, use this color. Now, honestly, that color seems a little dark now. Let's lighten it up a little. And if I add some more colors on the other nodes, what you'll get is a different sort of gradient, one that bends a bit better, looks a bit more realistic, I think. At the same time, it is still the cold hand of math, as exemplified by Illustrator's calculations. So therefore, it's very important. Let's see here, I think I can add a row. There we go. I can add some dots to try and balance this out a little. It's an inexact science for me. There we go. Little Heart, I'm sorry, I can't show the spreadsheet for my commissions. I don't want to give away anyone's information. If y'all would like to know how I'm doing on commissions and, well, really I call them thank yous for the people who supported my videos on Patreon. But I'm slow. Too slow, by far. So, I've been thinking about, would it be more honest and helpful to everyone if I took that off and replaced it with an idea? But the truth is, I don't know what that idea would be yet. I mean, I want to do right by people, but so I would honor the people I promised, but get something new on the table for more recent patrons. Oh, champ to stay. I have had the great pleasure of several dogs. 3 Goldens have been a part of my family. My brother has had a bulldog and now a Texas Healer, a Carolina dog hybrid. Jack, who is quite wonderful. Spent the weekend with him. And so, also, I'm allergic to cats, long-haired cats, so I pretty much have to go be a dog man. Though I'm not complaining. I love dogs. I think they're quite wonderful. More wonderful than this shading job. You know what? My problem is this dark patch. It's, well, too dark. Still. It's like the darkest would be at the bottom curve of this sock. This should be lighter. And these are white, so I think these should be white as well. Just to create the illusion of a shadow falling across the surface of something. And then I can increase the bend by pulling down on these points. Oh, okay, good, you can see them. Oh, that'd be great. I can pull these points. He's lost his mind. That's right, Silver. I see the points too. Yes, call security. So, let's see here. Magical Dude, my OC's part lion, but I've never gotten close enough to a lion to tell if I'm allergic to them. I'm going to continue that trend. Fitter Chris. Okay. This was announced today, so I am fully able to confirm it. I will have the immense pleasure of going to Ponyville Cider Fest in Milwaukee at the end of this month, or towards the end. The October 24th through the 22nd through the 24th. And as I understand, Chris, I'll get to see you in person. All right. Oh, we have a Dusty incoming. Pardon me one sec. Ahoy, Dusty.
Hello.
Oh, sorry I didn't see you right away.
I've poking you for like 4 minutes.
4 minutes? Oh my god. I'm sorry, I had a very difficult gradient to work with.
Oh, I see.
So, I appreciate you giving me the shout with the Discord call. Also, I'm impressed the Discord call worked. Doesn't always do that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so we're all here now.
We're all here now. I suppose you're all wondering why I called you here.
Yeah, why have we been called here? Hello, everybody. How are you doing in the chat? Nice to see you. It's been so long.
Oh, we have some folks in the chat giving you shout-outs, including this lady Alamathea, but it's really Norma Ruiz Gallardo. And Noah Harris.
Oh, hi. How you doing?
He's
so good. Mm-hmm.
Okay, apparently
this is the time when I practice. This is the time when I practice my voices. You see.
Ooh, fascinating.
Yes.
Yes. So, Dusty, how have you been? It's been a while since I've gotten to say hi to you.
I have been super busy. A couple of things going on. I was doing some maintenance on my motorcycle, and it's fighting me. It's not going back together correctly, so I had to fight it again. Hopefully that gets remedied this weekend. I've been very, very busy at work. We've been trying to get some projects out, so that's been going fairly well. I got a raise. Hooray, hooray, hooray. And I have a new truck on the way, so I'm, yes.
Congratulations.
I ordered myself. Yes.
Applause. I cannot hear this.
Yeah.
Wrong. There we go.
There we go. Yes.
Technical difficulties, please stand by.
Yes. Still on track for going to Europe next year, as long as everything works out. I know that I'm still contracted to Galacon. As long as they go live next year, I'm sure to be there. BabsCon, of course, is going to be live. They just announced like Nicole Oliver and Peter New and Vincent Tong and whoever they're going to announce today, because they're going to announce one today, I think. So yeah, lots of fun going on there. Still working on guitars. One guitar is being held up because my motorcycle needs to get fixed. But other than that, just going ahead. Our D&D game. I'm sure people who follow me on the Twitters know that I D&D every other Saturday. Our D&D game is coming to a head. The 3-year storyline is coming to its eclipse, probably within the next 6 months. So that's all been good.
Wow, that is a lot. Good on you.
Yeah, I try to keep myself busy, plus my mountain biking, plus my yoga, plus my trying to, stay around and help my friends out and be there for them and all that stuff. So it's a ton of things to get done. But yeah, it's a life.
That's a good life run by a good guy.
Yeah, we try. How am I in my amazing mustache? Sentinel, I am doing wonderful. My mustache, if you saw my Twitter earlier today, I just came up with a brand new mustache beard comb. The manliest in the world. Only three small payments of $19.99. It too can be yours.
Wait, the mustache?
No, the brush.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, are you like gonna rip it off and glue it together and mail it?
No, well, I do have a bit of it right here.
Because I would actually pay money to see that.
Yeah. So actually, I think you were there, if you remember correctly, Nightmare Nights. What year was this? 2017. When we shaved my beard mustache off for charity.
Yes, it was quite the transformation.
If you remember that. Yes, it was $1,235 that we raised just for shaving my mustache off, and I have some of it right here, which will be basically auctioned off at some point in the future. So you too can be manly just by cloning my DNA.
Wouldn't that be a manly clone? Or can I?
Yeah, probably.
Can I transplant my consciousness into the clone?
Oh, probably. Yeah, knowing you could do that.
Yeah, you have great faith in me. The cold hand of science.
Yes, I do. Champ says, Dusty, 2 questions before the movie chat. Thoughts on Thomas and Friends? Never got into it. Favorite motorcycle maker? All of them. As long as you're making motorcycles, I like them. So, yeah.
Now,
go ahead.
I was curious. The red motorcycle. I followed your Twitter and your struggles with at least one design. My friend Quirella is also a motorcycle enthusiast. She wondered what brand that was.
Oh, my red bike? That's Honda Africa Twin.
Africa Twin? Ooh.
Yes, it's a dual sport style motorcycle.
Nice.
Yes, it is nice until you have to get into the motor and then you have to tear the whole stinking bike apart. It takes about 2.5 hours to get everything off the bike so you can get to the motor top so you can do what you need to do, which is the whole problem. I got the whole thing back. I put the new gasket in, put the thing back together, started the bike and started peeing oil out the stinking gasket I had just changed. So I had to all come back apart and fix it again because I did something wrong. But the worst thing as a mechanic, okay, is you put something together and something happens, like an oil leak, right? It's like, okay, well, things happen. So you take it back apart and going, oh, what did I do wrong? Well, I took it back apart and there was nothing obvious that I had done wrong. And that's the worst. Because if there's something obvious, like you pinched the gasket or you rolled the gasket or there's a chip in the aluminum or whatever, that's obvious. You can fix that. But if you take it apart and it doesn't show why it leaked, all you can do is guess. It's like, well, if I put it back together again more delicately, maybe it won't leak. I don't know. But if I put that together again and then another couple hours putting it back together and it leaks yet again, I might take a sledgehammer to it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's it can be frustrating as you know. You get, especially like I'm sure when you do your artwork, I'm sure you get to a point where it's frustrating, where you can't figure out what's going on or what happens. And it's the same way with mechanics or programming or making a part on a CNC machine or whatever. Sometimes it just doesn't work and you're not really sure why.
I know that frustration on many fronts. Not just art. Actually, I think that's a good descriptor for life in general. You're not sure why it's going the way it is. You're just trying to do your best.
I think Picard had said it best. In life, you can do everything right and still lose. That's not something against you. That's life.
Yes,
Basically, you can do everything right and still lose. And that's just something that a human has to deal with. And it's life, you know? And the older you get, the more you get used to it. When you're younger, you think, oh my God, I did all things right. Why did I lose? Well, that's just life. It happens that way. When you get older, you realize that that's just life, and you can take it. You can take it with a go with the flow thing a little better. Champ, I don't lift very much anymore because I'm old. I'm 53. My joints don't take it very well anymore. I can lift, but I don't do it very much anymore.
Also, I remember that Picard quote. I think he said, that is not weakness, that is life.
Yes, that's it. It's not weakness. That's just life. That's the correct quote. Thank you very much.
And I do love those moments where Picard is sort of a dad to the whole crew.
He's a dad to the universe.
It's true.
Pretty much. He's a dad to Q. So basically, he's a dad to the universe.
That is something. Q, the ultimate rebellious teenager.
Yeah, the ultimate rebellious teenager, that guy. He's back in Picard Season 2. Our buddy, John Delancey, he's back.
He's back.
And I love one of the trailers. Picard said, we thought we were done with you. And he tells Picard's like, don't you remember? The trial never ends. So basically, they're going back to that. It's like, oh, okay, here we go.
Get the funny sniffer soldiers.
Enderpup, Star Wars versus a Star Trek. Well, you know what? Babylon 5. So yeah, Jonah, you got it. Bab 5. I think Bab 5 was probably the best Star Trek show ever. You know, basically, Bab 5 was what Star Trek wanted to be. It really is. So if you go back and watch Bab 5 from the beginning to the end, you should, because they're going to reboot Bab 5 now. So now you need to go back and watch the entire 5 seasons and get back into it and go, okay, well, now what? So they're not going to continue it, or they're going to reboot it. So, I really loved Bab 5. I loved the actors. I loved the storyline. I love the situations. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing sci-fi show. I kind of like it, if you couldn't tell.
I'm right there with you. Honestly, the idea of rebooting that, it's like, haven't you done enough already?
Yeah. It was sort of like, as soon as I knew that the creator was part of it, I'm going, oh my God, thank God. You know, if they were trying to reboot it because they own the property, but the original guy didn't want it done, then it's like, forget it. But if the original writer, Straczynski, is there, fine. We'll see what he comes up with.
It's faith in Straczynski, but no one is going to be able to replace the actor for Jakar.
No. They won't bring Jakar back. I don't know if they're even going to bring any of those characters back. You know, it might be a completely different thing. It might be a different part of that universe, right? A different part of that story. And it could be anything. It could be the Rangers. It could be Earth, back on Earth. It could be what happened on Earth while stuff was going on Babylon 5. It could be, you know, what was happening on Minbari, what was happening on, you know, Centauri Prime. It could have nothing to do with the station itself, right? It could be go back to like stations 1 through 4. Who knows? So it's a great big huge universe, and we're really puny and kind of like Mickey Rooney.
Little specks about the size of Mickey Rooney. I know what you're talking. I get that reference.
Yeah. Yes, we're very, very, very small specks.
Though it's going to be an
anyway. There was a different movie we were supposed to be talking about.
There is. So, fair warning to all who have not yet seen My Little Pony: A New Generation.
Yes, because we're going to spoil the hell out of it.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to share our thoughts. I'm going to get some good input because I'll be talking about it for Ponyfest Online tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to doing so. But that's more of a fixed presentation. This is a talk, coffee talk.
This is, yes, we're having a melding of the minds. What I think of it, what he thinks of it, bouncing things back and forth. He might come up with a point that I go, wait a minute, and I might come up with a point that he goes, wait a minute, and we'll talk about it. So if you're here for that, stick around.
If you're like, no, I haven't seen the movie yet, no spoilers, this recording of the stream will be there for you when you're ready to see
later.
It. But don't.
Later, yes.
Don't
get mad at us.
I had the great pleasure of being on Brawny's debate channel talking about spoilers. And the general consent, there are two parallel thoughts. A spoiler in itself will not actually decrease the entertainment, as we fear, but there is the regret of the unfulfilled self.
Yes.
The chance you were denied. So don't do that to yourself.
I'm surprised that in a 90-minute movie, which had a month of run-up and a month of trailers that changed almost every other day, that they never really gave away the whole story, which was amazing that they could do that. You sort of got an overall view of, and they said what was kind of going to happen, but they never gave away the payoff, right? In fact, they never even gave away the MacGuffins until the movie, right? The movie comes out, it's like, oh, here's these jewels, right? But they never showed you the jewels in the trailers. They never had the MacGuffins. So it was like, that was pretty good. You know, I kind of figured that they were going to spoil the heck out of it by the time they released it. But they didn't. Imalu didn't. GM Barrow didn't. So it was pretty cool that they could actually pull that off with only a 90-minute movie. That movie needed another half an hour. That movie needed 2 hours.
It did, because
I will say that.
I think some characters got a little shortchanged in the development.
Yes, Pip got shortchanged badly.
Oh, yes. Oh, we're of a mind then.
Yeah, Pip got shortchanged badly. She just came off as this bratty Instagram princess, which is sort of what her character was supposed to be. But the scene where they were in Alphabetal, right? That's his name. Doing the dance, right? Mm-hmm. And she just pipes up and says, feel the flow, you know, you've got this. It's like, all of a sudden, Sunny just changes her whole, like that. It's like, it made no sense. She barely talked to her up to that point. I'm like, why was Sunny all of a sudden, you know, filled with I can do this from Pip when she barely talked to her up to this point? That part in the movie didn't make sense to me. It seems like there's a scene on the cutting room floor that we did not see that got us to this point.
Something at the fireside talk.
Yeah, something at the fireside talk, something in the walk to Bridalwood, or something like that. In fact, when they got to Bridalwood, when we saw all the signs, right, it said, you know, don't come in here, blah blah blah. The scene that basically popped into my head was the Ranger and Aragorn saying, you know, what would make them go in there? The Fangorn Forest scene. It's like, what would make them go into Fangorn Forest? What would drive them in there? I was like, well, yeah. You know? Like, don't come in here. The Ents will get you. And all of a sudden, you know, Izzy just goes, la 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 la. She is so Pinkie Pie. Oh my god. She has got to be a descendant of Pinkie Pie. Has to be.
Maybe. Well, look, we did confirm Pinkie had a kid at the end.
Pinkie had a kid. And we have established that you can be an Earth Pony and have a Pegasus or a Unicorn kid, which is what the Cakes had. So it's not, it's known that you can, you know, have other tribes as kids. So, yeah, and if you're going to be here for 1,000 or 2,000 years, who knows how long this has been, right? Because Aimalu has basically canonized that the big tree with the pink flowers is the Tree of Harmony, is the broken Tree of Harmony, or was the Tree of Harmony treehouse, right? She said that, oh, somebody got that. So that was the Tree of Harmony treehouse. And there's nothing around it. It's a clear field. You know how long that takes?
I'm guessing
That's got to take an eon, dude. It's got to take 1,000, more than 1,000 years for an entire plane to basically change like that. And the tree isn't that far from a gorge, right? And that's, you know, you see the stone bridge, and there's a gorge there, which is not that far from the tree. That tree was in the middle of a forest. There was no gorge there. There wasn't even a river.
There was Ghastly Gorge.
Right.
I remember a gorge by the Castle.
There was Ghastly Gorge. Yeah. But I don't think the gorge was that big where that tree was. Because the tree was in... No, the tree was in a cave underneath, and then when it threw itself up through the ground, and then the treehouse was above ground, right? So that's what happened, right? So the tree is now above ground. Yeah, I guess it could be. That ravine could be there. Thinking about it.
Could be, but either way, it's a testament to how long it's been.
Oh, yeah, it's a testament to how long it's been. And that bridge, right, is stone. And if that bridge was the old rope bridge that went across to the old Castle of Two Sisters, somebody has, in 1,000 years, created a bridge out of stone. And then it fell apart within that time period. And on top of that, we never saw the Castle of Two Sisters, which is gone at that point, if that's that area on the map, right? So you've got the Tree of Harmony, you've got the gorge, you've got the bridge, which all makes sense that the Castle of Two Sisters should be there somewhere within that area, but we don't see it. Basically, when Izzy knocks the tree down, basically they do this pan shot, and it's just meadows and mountains, and that's it. There's no castle. There's no place where a castle could have been. Gone. So, who knows? Because if you think about it, think about Aztec temples, right? Out in the middle of the jungles. They're still there, right? It's been thousands and thousands of years since the Aztecs, right? How many, 2,000-3,000 years since the Aztecs domain, if I remember correctly. But they're still there, right? So that kind of makes a sense. Like, where did the Castle of Two Sisters go? Or if they just went in a different direction from the Castle of Two Sisters. It's got to be there. Hopefully it comes out in the series that they're going to go explore it, right? I have the feeling, and this is just me, spitballing, that some of the series is going to be Sunny trying to do her dad's work. Trying to make her dad's research be worth something, right? Seeing as he's gone, nobody knows why he's gone. He's just gone. He pulled an Applejack's parents.
He got Disneyed.
So he got Disneyed, yeah. And so I'm hoping that she does something with her dad's research, to prove that her dad's life wasn't a waste, right? And I think she already has. She brought the magic back. But, all of this information that he gathered over his years was all for naught. Oh no, he was not that old, Kosumiya. He was not that old. Oh my God, he was in really good shape. You know, in when she was a kid. I mean, it couldn't have been 10 years from the time she was a foal to the time of the movie. You think? So she was probably what, 5, 6 as a foal. So maybe it was 15 years. So she's an adult now. She has her own business. So Sunny could probably be in her early 20s or late teens. You think?
I'd say late teens. They're at an age where they can work, but they still rely on their families when possible, as evidenced by Zip and Pip, and
but
Sprout.
But Hitch has a paid-off mortgage, and Hitch is the same age as Sunny because they were kids together. I don't think he was older than Sunny, or not that much older, but he has a paid-off mortgage, right? So he's got to be old enough to have paid off a mortgage. Maybe they're in their 20s. Unless mortgages aren't worth much in Maritime Bay.
Who knows? I mean, I do like Hitch was a very respected member of the community. And he actually...
absolutely.
He actually understood, as proud as he was, as sort of cocksure, he also understood the sheriff was supposed to be a pillar of strength and safety.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everything needs to be... keep people calm, right? When he left to go find Sunny, he told Sprout to just don't burn the place down. Keep people calm. I'll be back. What's the first thing Sprout does? He burns the place to the ground. He basically gets everybody worked up because that's what his mom wants, right? Or his mom basically put all these things in his head from the time he was a foal, because if you remember in the opening scene, she doesn't want him hanging out at Sunny's house because Sunny's dad will put ideas in his head. So basically, mom has been feeding Sprout all these things his entire life. How do you think he's going to react when he finally gets some power?
But it also raises the question: Do you want to see Sprout go through a redemption arc?
I don't like how the end of the movie happened. I don't like the whole Sprout didn't have his comeuppance, right? Yeah, I know the way the movie went. It was only probably a week that they were gone, maybe 3 or 5 days, but he turned that place upside down, right? And caused a lot of damage and got a lot of people in trouble, probably got people hurt, and nothing happened, right? He asks his mom, was I a good sheriff? And she says, oh, look, a flying dog. No, wait a minute. Why isn't he behind bars over in the jail over there, right? Because he's going to have to be arrested. He's going to have a trial, right? If you're gonna pick up Sunny for these things, why didn't you arrest Sprout? Because he did a lot more damage than Sunny ever did. So, what? You know, I was like, that was a bad end. At least if they would have shown 2 seconds of Sprout inside a jail and the door closing, that would have been a more satisfying end than, you know, that whole flying dog line. But of course, Hasbro's probably saying, well, you can't have that in a kid's movie. It's like, yes, you can. You showed it in freaking the Gen 4 movie. You had Twilight in a cage with a villain song. It's like, of course you can do that. But yeah, I just have this feeling that somebody said, well, we can't put him in jail. It's a kid's movie. It's like, no, you can do that. Yeah, he trashed Sunny's home. He basically, he almost killed Alphabettle. He, so you got attempted murder. You've got disturbing the peace. You've got littering because he's throwing goo all over the place. You've got destruction of private property. You've got, all kinds of things you could charge him with. What the heck?
Well, I'm not trying to defend Sprout, but I wonder, they said that they signed the Sprout Act.
Right.
Is there some...
What's the Sprout Act?
Well, apparently it was giving him permission to do whatever he wanted, which is a terrible
Yeah,
policy. I'm
yeah,
I'm
terrible
worried that's
policy.
the reason why he's not held legally accountable. In which
Oh, I
case,
don't know. That could be. I'm sure a lot of things in certain years of Germany got overturned fairly quickly when that was over.
I'd have to brush up on my history on that one. But I,
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that. I mean, I don't want to equate this whole thing to World War II, but to make a point, I'm sure that in 1947, 8, they overturned a lot of laws that the Nazi Party basically had installed in Germany pretty quickly.
I mean, I don't think it's a false parallel. The whole thing about Sprout and Phyllis, to an extent, big extent, is that
Yeah.
the role of a manipulation is to first say, "There's a terrible enemy. Only I can protect you." This is actually a tactic being used in many
Yes.
countries right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the analogy is unwarranted.
Or like your government is out to get you. You must arm up, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So you've got a whole lot of people out there now. I mean, oh god, this is getting deep. But you've got a lot of people out there that just won't even talk about uh, common sense weapon regulation. Whereas we have a license to drive a car, right? Why can't you get a license to own a weapon that can kill somebody? Because a car can kill somebody. It can kill you. You can kill your passenger. You can run over somebody with it. You must be trained to use it. Well, what's keeping you from having to be trained to use, a shotgun? I had to go through hunter safety when I was a kid to get a permit so I could go get a hunter's license, which basically taught me not to shoot people. Duh. But you had to go through this. You had to prove that you knew how to use your weapon. You had to prove that you could do all of this before you could go out in the woods and shoot a deer. But nowadays, you still have to do that. But what's common sense of, if you want to have a weapon, go prove that you can use it. Go prove that you're safe with it. I would go do that myself. I'm pro weapon. I like my weapons. I like throwing knives. I like throwing axes. I'm an archer. I have a few guns that my grandfather built me a shotgun. Okay, I will never get rid of that. But I'm of the opinion that if I have to learn how to use those, right? And I don't mind having to go take a test about it. I mean, I have to take a test to drive a car. I have to take a test to do certain things in this world, because that's how society works. So I don't care. I mean, I'll take a test. I don't give a shit. Because I want to prove to other people I'm competent with it, right? I'm competent to drive a car, or I'm competent. You have to take a test to go drive a big rig, right? You can't just jump in a big rig and go drive it. You have to go through school, and you have to prove to the United States of America that you can drive this 30,000-pound missile on interstate highways. I've gone off on a tangent. I'm sorry. But anyway.
But I do want to reply to a comment in the chat. Hallie brought up the concept of ownership. Oh, Hallie, where's your comments? I want to be honest. Okay, Hallie mentioning the difference of collector versus user. Hallie, there's my old phrase, in my eyes. If you want to collect a weapon, I think you should still be responsible for the destructive power it possesses. And so even if you own a gun but never own a single bullet, I think you should still take a safety course.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, if you should be able to you should have to take a safety course for anything that's that destructive. I have to take a safety course. I have to renew my driver's license every 5 to 7 years. I have to prove that I can see, that I can drive. I gotta prove that I know the rules of the road. I gotta prove all that stuff. So I have no skin in the game right? I will go take whatever test you want me to take. You know, it's like, okay, here you go. Give them $20 and they give you a license that you can own that gun. If you want to have an automatic weapon in the United States of America, you got to have a Class 3 license. A Class 3 license, you have to go take a test for. Okay? There's a lot of people who rail the Second Amendment, saying that you should never have to take that test to own whatever you want. I should be able to own a rocket launcher or whatever, and I shouldn't have to take this test to have a Class 3 license. It's like bull. It should go the other way. If you want to have a handgun, you should go take a test for it, right? You should be able to hit what you're aiming at. You should know it. You should have a license to carry it. All of that stuff. A lot of people who are rah Second Amendment think, nope, shouldn't have to do any of that. I should just be able to go buy whatever weapon I want at any time. It's like, no, that's not how societies work. You know, we've gotten over everybody carrying blades and steel and rapiers and axes and all that stuff. We got over that centuries ago. I would rather not have people carrying guns around, but that's just me.
But funny enough, Synchrony mentions ponies and guns work well together. I'm still giggling at the there was a how to put it, a concept art or just a storyboard concept sketch of the scene where
I saw that,
where Sonny is leading Izzy through Maritime Bay,
mm-hmm.
and an elderly pony has like dual barrel machine gun. It's firing the goo.
Yeah.
I shudder to think how many gack jokes would be incoming, but the idea of Gunner Granny, I totally get why they didn't include it. I am not offended that they did not include it. At the same time, I find the concept hilarious.
Oh yeah, it would have been funny, and that's them taking it out in today's day and age is understandable. Would it have been funny in the 1970s? Absolutely. If this movie was made 20 years ago, they wouldn't have had a problem putting it in. Not a problem. Because you go back to 1970s, 80s Hanna-Barbera or any other animation studio you want to talk about. There's a whole lot of that stuff. And it was all fine. In today's day and age, just it's sort of pushing limits. So, but let's get off that topic. Let's move on.
Well, there's a question.
Go ahead.
Let's see here. That was cool. Gosh, where was it? Speaking of the movie, asked Cherry Fluffbelly, how did you react to the New Generation movie in general? I think that's a good way to introduce our thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when it was first announced, I had trepidation, of course. Because who knows what Hasbro was going to do? They kind of tolerated us. And G4 brought us to them. So were they going to dumb it down to newborn cuties to get their core demographic back, right? So, and that's what until Boulder Media had announced that they were going to use the G4 world to build their story in. We were all like, oh, it's going to suck. It's going to stink. They're going to repackage this into little kid stuff. And it was like, we're never going to see it again. But then somebody said, we're going to use G4's world. And it was sort of like, oh my God, it's like going back to my favorite D&D campaign. My favorite D&D world. All of a sudden, it's like every time I want to play a hack 'em slash 'em game, I go to Skyrim because it feels warm and fuzzy, and I know this game and I love it. Right? Well, now I'm going, oh, we've got a chance because we're going to my warm and fuzzy place, which is G4's world. It's going to be way in the future, but we'll figure out what's going on. And then they said that Sunny was going to be a social justice warrior, and they never should have said that. Because really, she wasn't in this. She just wanted people to get along. And that's not being a social justice warrior. That's something completely different. So it sort of put the, oh my God, they're going to screw it up back in my head. But I was going to give it an honest chance. I couldn't watch the movie until the day after it released, so I was trying very hard to stay away from spoilers. But I finally got to sit down and watch it by myself in the front room. And I was going, that's kind of cool. Oh, I like that concept. Oh, that's kind of neat. That's sort of cool. And then at the end, I was going, okay, well, Sprott didn't get his stuff, didn't get his comeuppance. But I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the humor. I enjoyed the characters. They, didn't have enough time for all of them, which sort of happened in the last movie when Fluttershy didn't get much to do. So Pip got set aside to be, what's the term I'm looking for? Typecast. She was typecast as a social media starlet kind of thing, and most of her jokes were in the social media thing. This joke happens when you do social media too much. It's like when Izzy brought out the tea set. Oh, I wish I could have live streamed that. Well, in 20 years, no one's gonna know what live streaming is. So it's sort of a typecasting thing. But I liked all the jokes. I liked the songs. The songs were catchy. I don't think I remember all of the songs as much as I remember Winter Wrap Up. But, they were all pretty catchy. I think the glowing up song I could do without. The lyrics make no sense. And I think that's just because I'm 53. I don't know if it makes more sense to kids. I think it might be a kid thing. But the rest of the songs I really liked. So I like the movie. Am I head over heels for the movie? No. Do I think it's a good movie? I think it's an okay movie. I think it could have been better if it had 20 more minutes. And they could have expanded a couple of more scenes and expanded a couple of more whys. That's what I think.
Makes sense to me. I enjoyed it. How should I put it? When I heard them say she's an activist, I too was unsure. I mean, I guess there was a reading I found several years ago in trying to answer what's the difference between a social justice warrior and an activist. The answer they put was an activist will try to get a handy rail or a handicap access ramp put into a building. A social justice warrior will try to remove the stairs. So watching Sunny, I'm like, if I'm gonna use a term to describe her efforts, I think she is an activist, but she's a very naive one.
I think anybody who's that young who becomes an activist is naive. They're naive about a lot of the things that happen in the world, and they think they can change it like that. And then they grow into it, and they become, oh, this is going to be the long game, right? And I think that happened with Sunny. I think all of her life, and you could tell on the early, it's like Hitch comes up and says, Sunny, you're going to do this again and again and again. And she's been doing it for years since she was a foal, right? So when she was a foal, she didn't understand that you couldn't just be friends. Why can't we be friends anymore? Her dad says, maybe one day we can make it happen. He, in experience, says it's a long game. Her, in her inexperience, doesn't understand why they can't be friends. So as she grows up, it comes on and comes on and comes on. And all of a sudden she realizes that she has to start making more grandiose plays to get everybody to understand. They don't always work, but it's a long game, right? And she's at her very bottom when she gets thrown out of Canon Logic. And Hitch now is starting to question her and says she has no more friends in this town. And what am I going to do? Dad, I wish you were here. And all of a sudden, I have a unicorn to play with. It's like, what happened here? Oh my God. And our story goes off. So it gets to a point where she's on her last. Does she still believe? Does she still believe in unicorns? If you want to call it like that. It's like, it's sort of believing in the fantasy. Do I still believe in unicorns, or do I still believe in magic? Right? It's like, and that's what Hitch is trying to tell her. It's like, this is the way it's always going to be. There's never going to be magic. And it's sort of like what we have as a kid, right? When we're kids, we believe in magic. We believe anything can happen, right? As we get older, we start to understand that unicorns aren't real. Santa Claus isn't real. The Tooth Fairy isn't real.
Wait, what?
But we still do it, right? We still do Christmas, even though as we grow up, we realize that Santa Claus is just, a reason to sell toys, or Hearts and Hooves Day is only a reason to sell greeting cards. There is no Cupid. There is no, as we grow older. And I think that happens to Sunny. She comes to a point where she's sitting on that bench, and at that point, she's growing up. At that point, she says, maybe there isn't any magic. And all of a sudden, here comes your unicorn. You believed long enough, a unicorn will present itself to a maiden, and all of a sudden, there you go.
Well, that moment of doubt, that moment of nearly giving up. And that's where I think in the hero's journey, they're talking about mystical help.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Oh, here's a fun thing about Izzy's design. I wondered, I could see the exuberance, and I think a Pinkie Pie comparison is valid. But I always wondered, why does she have such a cooler color scheme? Then I learned purple is often associated with magic.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So she really is the mystical help, and well, I won't make any secret that she's my favorite character in the movie.
Well, it's like if you go back to the scene with Molly and the unicorn in, of course, The Last Unicorn, where Molly laments to the unicorn. It's like, why did you come to me now when I am this? Right? But she did. She did present herself to Molly. So it's sort of, there's a correlation here where, Sunny is at her lowest, and the unicorn that she believed in all of her life appears at that moment.
And followed by one of the best chase scenes. Love it.
Followed by a pretty good chase scene, yeah. I love the point where Izzy is ADHD. You can tell, because any shiny thing that was going on, she basically went ooh ooh ooh. That's like the marquee, right? Oh, I haven't seen this one, and that's a line. It's like, wait a minute, you mean you've seen other movies? But when you go to Bridalwood, it doesn't look like they have a movie theater, right? But she hasn't seen that movie. She's seen other movies. Well, how? I don't know. But it might be a hole in the script. But I haven't seen this one. She thinks it's kind of cool, but there's, a unicorn, robot thing with a red eye, and she gets caught in the unicorn trap. And I'm trying to figure out how Cantor Logic just introduced those unicorn traps, and all of a sudden they're all over town. I was like, when did you install those? Overnight? When? What? Were you doing this without telling us you were doing this? How did you get that approved by the city council? But anyway, there was a part in a hole in the script of how did these get out here? And why is there so god dang many? But she gets caught, right? And all of a sudden you have Hitch going, oh, it's all fine. We've got her. Everything is great. And then Sunny just sits there and goes, don't you do it. Don't you do it. And she looks at him like, I'm going to do it. You know I'm going to do it. Just shut up. And they're gone. Yeah, I'm going to do it. There
we go.
Well,
let's see here.
Judd, the beans part actually was a precursor to taking down the tree, right? So if you didn't have the beans joke showing that Izzy can basically open a can with her sharp horn, it would have made no sense for her to pull a Woody Woodpecker to knock down a tree later in the movie.
Although part of me was always, I've seen people ask, is she part beaver? Like, I know she used her horn, but I'm picturing her with beaver teeth.
Yeah, it's like I know they had to cut it for time, right? But if they gave it like a second more and a little bit louder woodpecker sound, it would have made more sense. Because I had to go back and watch the movie a second time to understand that she had knocked that down with her horn. I went, wait a minute. Oh, she woodpeckered it. So it didn't translate in that scene that's what she did. So I know they wanted her to do it off camera, but if the woodpecker noise was a little bit louder and went on for another second, I think it would have translated a bit better within the movie. And that's just a sound design problem.
That makes sense to me. Just looking through Rosefire, wondering, how are we? What? I'm doing well. I'm getting to hang with a friend and catch up. Here's thoughts on the movie.
Yep.
Is good times.
Yes, that's what we're doing. It's good times. We're doing okay. Life is better than it was a year and a half ago. And that's all you can really do. Any day that's 6 feet over ground is better than not. Unless, of course, you're spelunking. Then the deeper you go, the better it is.
That's the most PG we can make it.
That's about the most PG we can make it. Yet that's caving, people. That's going out and exploring caves. Okay, don't make it bad.
Chris is wondering.
I know it's a big word.
Why was Sonny's mom never in the photo? Like, is she a walkout, or was Sonny adopted? I'm inclined to think that Sonny's mom suffered a tragedy. I think I don't assign walkout or anything like that.
Other people were noticing, and I didn't notice this until it was brought up, that everybody was a single parent. Sprout's mom, single parent. Hitch, we never saw his parents at all. Sonny, single parent. Izzy, seems like Alpha Biddle was a guardian, other than he turned to her and said, we don't need ponies like you around here. Like, the whole town doesn't like Izzy. That's why her cottage is so far out from town. If you noticed that, they had to walk a pretty good distance to get from her place into Alpha Biddle's tea shop, into town. I think that Izzy was actually a cast out. So basically nobody liked her because she was so Pinkie Pie. And she had to live out away from town. In fact, someone pointed out that there was a birthday card that she made for herself on the mirror that Hitch was in front of when they were doing the song.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. So basically it makes sense that she was an outcast from the town. And Alpha Biddle turned to her when Sonny lost her horn, and he said, we don't need ponies like you. He was pointed at Izzy, not at Sonny. So he was basically telling Sonny, we don't need you, or Izzy, we don't need you here either. We don't need help from you. I'm sure Izzy's been trying to help that whole town most of her life, and they just don't want to listen to it.
A parallel to Sonny.
Yeah, parallel to Sonny. Basically, she's been trying to help, and Sonny's been trying to help, and nobody wants to listen to them. And the same thing happened with Zip. When Zip talks to her mom before they do the song, she tries to tell her mom, look, the unicorns don't have any magic either, and I think it's tied to why we can't fly. Her mom doesn't want to hear it. So basically, the youth of this entire nation is trying to tell the older folk that you're wrong, and we kind of know what's going on, but you won't listen to us. No one's listening to Sonny. No one's listening to Izzy. No one's listening to Zip. Right? And Pip, I don't know what's going on with her, but Zip and Pip's mom says, well, look, your sister understands because her sister is popular. Her sister is getting everything she wants in life. Whereas Zip is going, I don't like lying to the people. I don't like this whole flying with wires stuff. I can actually fly. If you follow me down here, I'll show you how to do it. But her mom is like, no, the public only loves that we can fly, and it gives them, a happy feeling in their hearts, and they're feeling safe and whatever. And yeah, where was the dad of Zip and Pip, right? So it's like the entire weave of the story is like the youth is not being heard by the powers that be, which is kind of a thing that's going on in the world today. You know, the youth of every country is not being heard by the powers that be. So they went off and did it alone, and they did their thing, and Sonny brought magic back to the world and proved that it could be done. So I think that's another storyline weave that people have missed, is that, you know, they're all trying to help their people, but they're not being heard.
Or being told this is the way it is, ironically, by both
Right.
Pip and Hitch, who are in pretty comfortable places in this current setup.
Oh yeah, Hitch has a paid off mortgage. He's got a really great job. People look up to him. He doesn't need to change. He doesn't need a change. He's fat and happy, right? Sprout is not. Sprout, as you can tell, is like, everybody loves Hitch. What has he got that I don't have? He's got a great smile. He's got a 6-pack abs. He's got a paid off mortgage. It's like, he's jealous. He's jealous of Hitch. He's jealous that everybody in town looks up to him. He's like, why don't they look up to me? Why can't I get that adulation? You know, why can't I do these things? And as soon as he gets a little bit of power, he goes right off the deep end. Gone. Right? And that's why, basically, that's why Hitch is the sheriff and you're not. And it's happened before, because you can tell when Hitch goes out the door, right? And he tells him, it's like, you know, no, and at the end of it, he just says, just don't burn the place down. Obviously, he's burned the place down before. You know, in that line, the way it was given was like, you've caused me problems before, just don't do it again.
I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, as an actor, I listened to that line. It was like, oh yeah, he's done it before. Yeah, he's done it before. Yeah. So it's really, and this whole movie was wonderfully acted. You know, we were really worried about when they got all these people that were actors, that, you know, movie actors, you know, and we're like, oh my God, they're just not going to understand the whole pony thing, right? And they pulled it off. The acting in this was really, really good, and I was surprised. I was very surprised. The guy who plays Hitch wasn't too into the whole prep of the movie. He wasn't into the trailers too much. And he definitely didn't do any social media for the movie, and he still doesn't. You know, same thing with the guy who played Sprout, Zhang. He hasn't said hide nor hair of the movie since it's been out. And he didn't pre-prep the movie either. He didn't, you know, start, you know, pumping up the movie before it came out. I think they just got their paycheck and left. And that sort of, it kind of hits me sideways, because we were so spoiled by having almost every voice actor who ever worked on the show on G4 just be all about their characters, all about the show, loving being on it, loving pumping it up. Basically because they were getting paid good money for being on that show, and they wanted it to last as long as possible. This is just a movie. James Marsden, is just another actor, right? He doesn't really care about the property. He got his paycheck and he left. More than likely, that's pretty much tells me he's probably not going to play Hitch in the series, because if he was, he'd be doing promotion for it. You know, same thing with Zhang, or how do you say his name? I don't even remember. And I don't like him. I don't like him as an actor. I don't like him as a person. I don't like him in anything he's ever done. But in this, that worked, because it made me hate his character even more. It was like, I didn't like Sprout at all as a character, right? I think the actor did a good job with Sprout. I just don't. I didn't like the actor who played him, but that just made it better in that I hated the character even more.
Want to give just some quick shout outs. First off, Edgar Damon is hosting with the party at 26. That is much appreciated. Then Null and Void and Moravine. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. And Katt Izumaki all followed. Much appreciated.
Yes.
And I got
thank you very much.
Support through Kofi from Rose. So greatly
Yay!
appreciated. Now, you're all going to hear some strange sounds. I'm just grabbing my backpack because for this next part, I needs my tablet. So be right with everybody. Pray pardon me.
Okay. I'll be here, so ask me questions, chat. I'll be here answering your questions until the quill comes back. So are we going to the same voice cast for the show? We don't know, Jinx. We don't know. All we're doing is speculating right now because of the way certain actors are treating the movie. All the girls are into it hardcore. All of the female voice actors are way into it. The gentleman who played Sonny's dad, nothing. Didn't even. I don't think he even acknowledged that the movie came out.
There we go.
Yeah, Marston, I think, was only doing the stuff because he was contracted to, and we heard nothing from Zhang. So, and I don't think that, I think that the guys just didn't care. The girls were all over it. So I don't think any of those guys are going to be around for the series. The girls might, but I don't know if any of the guys are going to. And most series like that who have big movies that make series usually get sound alikes anyway, because they're cheaper.
Makes sense. I did wonder, the marketing early on, before Netflix did their month-long barrage, at a time where we were just getting information basically from the toys, more than anything. I saw the voice actresses in these marvelously elaborate dresses. Like, how many ruffles can you put on one person?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness, yeah.
So I kind of wonder if, like, for the guys, I think they know this is still a
girly
movie made for young women. I wonder if that's where some of the emphasis lies, and that's why the guys aren't really a part of that advertising, or maybe not. It could be they don't.
Well, the thing is, if they were so conscious of the young male demographic that they wanted to bring into My Little Pony, that they would put Hitch in as a main character, right? One of the main five, then why would they not want the guys to help with the promos? That doesn't make sense. So I just think that the male voice actors just took their checks and left and didn't care at all. And I could be proven wrong, and I'd like to be. I really wish these three guys would pull it up and go, hey, rah, 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 this movie. Because it was #1 in the world on Netflix for hours the other day, right? So obviously it's a good movie. Obviously people like it. Mm-hmm. So, wow, you're in a #1 movie on Netflix, but you're saying nothing about it. If I was in a #1 movie on Netflix, I'd be on top of Mount Hamilton out here shouting it. It's like, oh my God, I'm in this movie. The funny thing was, where they had the girls doing, quote unquote, the voice lines for the movie in those poofy dresses in the middle of a room, right?
Yep.
And yeah, that wasn't the real. And as a voice actor, it made me laugh out loud. It's like, this is bullshit. And they didn't do it like this. They were in booths, probably in their sweatpants, in their houses, because they probably recorded this during the middle of freaking the lockdown.
It's
so
human malware.
It was,
we're prone to call
pretty
it.
much.
Right.
Jen, I'll go check those out after we're done here.
Makes sense. Let's see. Hollywood's Null and Void wants to know, you think they went overboard with the big names because of Hollywood's obsession with putting big names in movies to try and bring more in?
Yep. Kids don't care. Kids don't care who the voice actors are. They just want to see the characters, right? A really good voice actor would do just as good a job on a character as a big name actor. Most big name actors who get cast in animated movies have never been done animation before. Look at Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, right? They cast him as in the Moana movie. He'd never done animation before, ever. But he's Dwayne Stinkin' Johnson. So, we need this guy because he's a big name, right? He's going to bring all these people into it. This Disney movie. It's a Disney movie. You didn't need him. But they wanted this Maui character because he's this big Polynesian guy. And, hey, here's an actor right here that loves his Polynesian heritage. Let's get him. And it worked. Don't ask me how it worked, but it worked. But he was never a voice actor. And he had to and he has said that in his interviews, when they were doing promo for that movie, that he had a brand new respect for the voice actor after he drug himself through that movie learning how to do it. He said, oh my God, the voice actors are amazing people, you know?
Apparently he also voiced a character in Planet 51.
I have no idea what Planet 51 is. I've never seen it, never heard of it. So I wouldn't know. I'm sorry.
I'm drawing a blank as well, but either way, he did. Honestly, I really enjoyed him singing "What You're Welcome." But even then, he's not a professional voice actor.
He's not a professional singer. He's not a professional voice actor. But that's like most of the people that were in this movie. The gentleman that played Alpha Biddle, voice actor, been a voice actor for decades. Very good voice actor. The guy who played Sonny's dad has been in the entertainment industry since Laverne and Shirley, way back in the 70s. Has he ever done voice acting before? I'd have to research that. I don't know. But I love him as actor. He's a really great guy. The other ones, I have no idea who they are. Thank you, Philomar, yes. But I didn't know any of these other actors. They're on other shows that I've never seen before. So I'm like, I don't know, these people. So I was coming in with absolutely no yay or nay on these voice actors. I was letting it hold up to its own thing. So, but I did like it. I liked the way the voice actors worked. Kimiko Glenn is in a number of things. She's in Centaur World and some other stuff. I couldn't get into Centaur World. A lot of people say it's a great show, but I couldn't get past episode 1. It's just I just couldn't. But yeah, I also didn't watch DuckTales for a lot of it because it's on a channel I didn't have. Again, I think that the movie's held up its own. Do they use big stars to bring in the parents so that they get the kids to watch because the parents actually control the box? Yes. They do that all the time. And that's why they did that. Well, that's why they did that on the last My Little Pony movie. They brought in the main 6 character actors, are wonderful voice actresses, but all the big names from all of these movies got all the big parts. You know, all of the villains and all of these other things were given to big names so that they could have this big movie.
Honestly, I feel like that was actually to Friendship is Magic's movie's detriment. You're trying to put too many characters in it.
I think it was. I think it was a detriment to have that many characters in it. I mean, it should have been a bit more simple of a storyline, because you didn't give it enough time to breathe. Really, I mean, that movie was. You had plot point, on and on and on and on, really, really quick, and it was like, by the time the movie was over, like, what happened? How'd that work out? What? You know, but I had to watch that movie a couple of times just to make sure I got everything. You know, with this one, I got everything in one sitting, which was good and bad. I would have liked to seen a little bit more depth to it. So you've got the G4 movie, which had way too much, and you had this movie, which had a bit too little. And there's a happy medium between there with movies, but they missed it both times, I think.
Personally, I think the MLP movies have been in an upward trend. G1 movie, no one really remembers except for the Smooze song.
Yeah, Schmeeze.
Because really, the villains were the main characters of that movie.
Yeah.
Then you've got Friendship is Magic. Better story, but overcrowded. This one, nicely free in that all it has to do is introduce the main cast and the world in which the updated world in which they live. You didn't have to have a bunch of extras to get the star power.
Right. Well, that's like in the G4 movie. It's like Tempest's sidekick. What's his butt? It's like useless character. Oh, yeah. He did nothing for the story. He was there for sight gags and stupidity, and that was it. And to tell you the truth, I don't even remember his name. Oh, Grubber, finally. But yeah, it's who played him? Some big name actor I can't remember because I don't remember the character. He was pretty much useless to the story, and didn't need him. Didn't need him at all. You take Grubber out of that movie,
nothing changes.
Didn't matter. Nothing changed.
His one thing is he likes pie, and he
yeah, it's like he likes pie, and that's about it. Yeah, and any of Grubber's lines could have been given by any other nondescript guard. He was really useless, and I'm sure that the actor who played him fully agreed. But he was a useless character who didn't need to be. Thank you, Michael Pena. And because Tempest is on this thing on her own, and basically he just got in her way a lot.
Or made her less threatening so the kids wouldn't be overly intimidated.
Yeah, maybe that's why he was there.
I don't know. But I've always had a problem with those characters. You ask, why is this villain, who's clearly supposed to be competent, why are they keeping such a garbage minion around?
Yeah, that's like if you go to the Monarch, right? The Monarch could be such a great villain character, but he has all of these stupid minions around who basically get in his way, right? In fact, the Monarch gets in his own way, but Dr. Girlfriend sort of keeps him on the straight and narrow. But if it was just the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend, they'd take. But they've got all of these minions that are getting in their way all the time. That's played for the joke in that show, and that's the way it was supposed to be. But you didn't in the My Little Pony G4 movie. He sort of got in the way of the actual storyline.
Trinair, you're right. The Monarch is kind of a twit too.
Yes, he is kind of a twit too, but at the end of that show, he became a lot less of a twit. He started to learn from his thing, and so I think that the character arc of the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend was probably one of the better arcs in that show.
Makes sense. Let's see here now. With the My Little Pony movie, I do feel a need to somewhat defend Izzy as more than Pinkie Pie 2.0. It's because of, well, I'm really glad you pointed out that she has a scene where she wrote a birthday letter to herself. She has this quiet vulnerability that you see through the surface on several occasions. There's the campfire where she realizes that if they succeed, she'll have to say goodbye. And then there's when Sunny shuts down the tea party. We don't have time for that now. And she looks really bummed. At that moment, I thought that was a sign Sunny was becoming so fixated on the goal she was missing the very thing she strived for. But
yeah, well, you have to the way those scenes showed that Sunny herself really doesn't understand friendship either yet, right? Because she didn't feel Izzy's feelings on how she was trying to impress or be around her friends and show her friends the things that she likes or the things that she's done, right? We need to get on with the thing. We need to get on with the thing. We need to get on with the thing. And Sunny at that point has her focus, right? This is what we're trying to do. We're so close that this is what we need to do. Whereas Izzy is trying to make sure that these people become her friends by, one, impressing them with what she does, It's like, oh yeah, here's the unicycling. This is all the things that I've made. Check out all my stuff. I've seen a lot of people try to become friends with people by showing off their stuff. Um, the and again, Sonny didn't realize it, and Izzy makes that frowny face sip with the tea. And then later on at the campfire, right? And I've seen a lot of people who throw up a Pinkie Pie like personality to hide themselves, to hide their sadness, to hide their insecurities. I've seen it over and over and over and over again, not only in movies or TV shows, but in real life. I've seen a lot of people like that. And you can tell because she is out away from the rest of the unicorns. And as they're walking in, when Sunny says, the rest of them don't seem to be like you, she says, yeah, I've got too much sparkle for this place. Right? Everybody's lost their sparkle. So she's like, yeah, I'm too much for this place. I don't want to be like them. I'm just way too much. I'm sort of Pinkie Pie-ish. I'm too much for this place. That's why she's off living by herself. And she probably doesn't have any or many friends in the place. And you could just tell when Alpha Biddle says, we don't need ponies like you. That's obviously not the first time he said that to her. Or anybody has said that to her. You can tell by the look on her face when it happens, when it turns to her, the hurt on Izzy's face when he says that is heartbreaking.
Now, do you think this is a commentary on the world they inhabit? That in old school Equestria, an eccentric like Pinkie was celebrated. An eccentric like Izzy is rejected. Or I still view the vulnerability as something more distinct than just being a Pinkie clone.
Izzy left Bridalwood and went to Maritime Bay. Was she finally had to go find a friend. She didn't have one. It's written all over her face. It's written all over her house. The birthday card that's on the mirror is a clue that she didn't have any friends there anymore. And she had this piece of paper which she found as a foal saying that you have friends in Maritime Bay. Come visit us. And she finally said, you know what? There's nothing for me here. I'm going to go find that friend. And she did. And she went off and found Sunny. And we're off on our great quest. Because she doesn't have any friends in Bridalwood. And because nobody can put up with her, or nobody wants to put up with her. It's another underlying flow of the story that happened, right? And if you don't sit here like you and I and analyze, a lot of the undercurrents of the story, no one would pick that up.
Let's see. Now, just looking through comments real quick. I get some people don't buy into Izzy because of the Pinkie Pie thing. I still see her as distinct. Trinary, yes, I am making Hitch the Wharf. He goes through a lot. Let's see here. But now I'm at an impasse. So it's like I've got Troy, Worf, Geordi. I mean, I can't make Sunny bald, but I can't have her say engage. But who should I make Zip into? I mean, there's Riker and Data.
No. Zip might not even be part of the Enterprise crew. I think she's more like B'Elanna Troy.
Make Picard very uncomfortable. I will always remember Picard. Get us back to the station, Warp 9.
Yeah. But, yeah. I would think more of a more aggressive female character.
Mm. And I know there was Tasha Yar, but I don't want to imply that she's going
Tasha Yar, but nobody remembered Tasha Yar. She
Oh.
was one season only, and then she was gone.
Just trying to think, who else could I do? Oh, Ensign Rowe. Yes, Darth Revan. I like your thinking. Ensign Rowe Laren.
Maybe that.
Let's see here. I just need to remember. Just pulling up a reference image. You know, my thought with the ending, because I actually feel like the ending was the weakest part.
Oh yeah, it was. The ongoing joke with the balloon pony was like, okay, there he is in the background there he is in the background there is there, and then we go to Zephyr Heights, we don't see him again, and then all of a sudden at the end of the movie he lands. What did I miss? It's like he pulled a Princess Luna, right? It's like, you missed everything, dude. But it's like somebody at the beginning of this wrote this joke into the entire movie just to end it that way, and it's like, okay, that was, I didn't sort of like, it was how is this guy alive, right? He's been floating in the air for like a week with no water, no food, no magic, to keep him alive, nothing, right? So how can he land and just be all, what did I miss? It's like, you should be falling on the ground in exhaustion, because you've been floating for a week.
Honestly, I feel he's a fashion model. I hate to say it, but he's probably been on really intense diets.
Yeah.
Really intense.
That, I don't think he was eating clouds, Ender. There you go. The balloon thing was sort of like, and we had absolutely no explanation for nothing, which means, of course, they want you to come back to the series because we're going to explain most of it in the series. And that's, a lot of people were like, really, you didn't explain anything. Well, they want you to come back to the series and it'll all get explained then. So, but now we have to wait until fall of next year until the series happens.
Reportedly, there's a special coming out.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a special coming out between now and then. But I saw advertisements for an animation house in Vancouver looking for people to work on this series. So are you telling me that Boulder Media is not doing the series? So there's an animation house in Vancouver that's doing the series. It's not DHX. And if they're doing that in Vancouver, are we getting Vancouver voice actors to do these new characters? Curiouser and curiouser.
Or is it a separate pony project?
Who knows? And we did see, I did see Ellie Ray did a tweet about, hopefully you liked the characters, my character in whatever. So she did either a pony in the series or a pony in the movie. And I didn't actually look at the scrolling credits on voices, so I don't know if she was actually in the movie. I should go back and check that. But yeah, so she said something about being in G5. I'm just not sure whether it's a series or the movie.
We will find out in good time. But
we will find out in good time. Yes.
To be honest, I don't mind that we don't know. This isn't a Where Are They Now movie. This is meant to be.
We don't know what happened to the G4 ponies. We don't know what happened to the G4 civilization, if you want to call it that. Call it Rome, right? They are continually digging stuff up on the Isle of Great Britain and learning new things about the Roman Empire when the Romans had occupied Britain. And I watch archaeology shows about it all the time. They're learning new things about the Roman Empire all the time. And it's like, they're going to do the same thing. They've been without Twilight, the girls, or that era in Equestria for that long. They are not going to know anything about what happened in those days or how the society ran or any of that. They're just not going to know because it's been that long. We kind of think we know how Rome went, but we don't know everything. For sure we don't know everything. So we don't know a lot about the Gull. We don't know a lot about, the Huns. We don't know a lot about certain other. We kind of think we know because of some of the things we found that they left behind, but we're finding new things out all the time about all of these civilizations and how they lived and how they died and how they didn't, how they failed, if you want to call it that. So we learn new stuff all the time. All the time.
But I've seen people rant on nothing but, oh, they didn't cover G4. And it's like, I want a story that lets me know the new setting, and we can go back. I'm okay with that. Please stop ranting about this.
Yeah, stop ranting about it, because we're going to find out probably in the series. And like I said, I really hope they let Sunny, in a couple of episodes, start doing more research like her dad did. And they find the Castle of the Two Sisters, and they find, the Tree of Harmony. And they go, oh my God, we walked right past it. This is the Tree of Harmony. And who knows? Magic's back. What happened to that tree? We didn't go back and check, did we? We don't know. So there's a whole lot of things now that magic is back that could be happening all around Equestria that are, basically, it's like turning the computer off and back on. Things are starting to liven back up because magic is back. But we don't know because we didn't go see it yet. So maybe we'll find out. So I hope we find out. I hope we find out something, just anything about what might have happened. Why Twilight might have broken those 3 crystals apart and given them to, the Pegasi and the unicorns and the Earth ponies. And somehow during the span of time, it was forgotten as to why those crystals were what they were, where they were, why they were given to the tribes, and it fell out of, consciousness. It fell out of modern consciousness of why those things were done.
Well, honestly, I was disappointed when the crystals did become magic. It's like, okay, they've been a MacGuffin, a red herring. Oh wait, they are magic?
Yeah. So basically, it was they red herringed them twice on us.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and I kind of felt like the thing at the top of the lighthouse was a red herring. It couldn't have been that easy, right? All of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, we found out. It was going to be like, oh, they couldn't have wrote it this way. No, they couldn't have wrote it this way. This is not right. And all of a sudden, smash the lighthouse. The lighthouse starts falling. Everything comes apart. And I'm going, well, there's no way that can work anymore because the MacGuffin that takes the MacGuffins is broken. So therefore, it can't work. So now you've got a broken MacGuffin with the other MacGuffin. And, how are we going to get out of this? And then Sunny basically says, and the same thing that Twilight said, is that the elements of harmony are not these rocks. The elements of harmony are within us. And Sunny says, it's not about the crystals. It's not about this. It's about love, and it's about understanding, and it's about getting along. And then all of a sudden, we've got magic. And it's the same thing as Wendigos, right? As soon as the 3 tribes got back together, the Wendigos went away. Well, as soon as the 3 tribes got together, magic came back. It's just the magic being gone was Wendigos. And it's almost the same formula. It's like all of a sudden when the 3 tribes figured out that they really needed to be together, we got our magic back. So something happened in the past where the 3 tribes broke up, and somebody said, well, you don't deserve magic anymore, and they took it away. Either the Tree of Harmony or Equestria itself as a nation or as a world said, well, you don't deserve magic right now. You guys need to figure it out, and we'll give you magic back when you finally start playing nice again.
Or perhaps Twilight is saying, a much older Twilight, like, I can't walk with you on this part, but I know there'll be someone who can pick up the baton, carry forward. So, and
yeah, maybe Twilight was coming to the end of her reign, and there was nobody to be able to. She didn't find anybody worthy to give her power to that the same way Celestia gave it to her, right? Maybe she came to the end of her reign and said, "Well, there's no one to take over, but I have to go," like Celestia and Luna did. Or she came to the end of her life and there's nobody to give it to, so she broke it apart and said, "Okay, well, here's your individual pieces. When you can finally play together again, it'll work itself out." Somebody actually wrote a really cool fanfic this week, which was when everybody went to town to get supplies to fix the lighthouse, Sunny is out on the back of her property looking out over the ocean. And here comes the spirit of Twilight, comes down and talks to Sunny and explains to her what happened, or pieces of what happened. And just before everybody shows back up, Sunny turns away, and when she turns back, Twilight is gone. And it's a very well done, maybe 2,800 word fanfic that really was well done and made some explanations and made you feel like that might have been what it was. You know, it was a very well done piece. Something fiction. I don't remember the name of it right at this very moment.
Well, not to worry. We can always tweet it out later.
Yes.
That's what I
but
do.
yeah, the thing that I love is that as soon as the movie came out, everybody's making stuff. There's art happening. There's music happening. There's animations starting. There's, you know, you and I are talking about it. You're making an after the fact piece of artwork right here, which means you're doing something.
Tomorrow
that,
Ponyfest.
you know, even, you know, Firebrand's going to do something. He said he wrote something, filmed it, and he's just got to edit it. He's going to put out. Paleo Steno just put out a wonderful piece about empathy that you really should listen to and go watch. I'm sure that, you know, we're all going to do a Bronies React about it really soon. So everything is falling back into place. I'm sure no one wants to forget G4. I mean, we love all the people that worked on it. We love all the characters, but it's nice to have this new injection of juice into the fandom.
Inspiration.
A new injection of inspiration with new characters and not a new world, but a new, how did this world happen? How did this? Now we can start speculating and doing what we're doing, which is talking about it and coming up with new fan fictions and new art and new ideas. And it's wonderful to see it again. I mean, it really brings a tear to my eye that we can all do this, and have it be pure and true. Everyone is doing it. They're not doing it as cringe. They're doing it because they love it, and it's great to see.
Oh, there's might be a little bit of cringe, as I said. There's folks who devote too much.
Will do nothing
energy.
but cringe. Yeah,
they devote too much energy to being angry.
Oh yeah, and I almost can kind of understand it over the last 2-3 years of this thing that the entire world has been going through. Everybody's angry. Everybody wants to lash out at whatever. It's like, oh, this is making you happy? Well, I'm mad at that. I can't be happy, so I'm going to make you unhappy by lashing out at the thing that you love. Well, stop it. I've pretty much started to ignore those people. It's like I'm ignoring all of those people that, and I don't care who you are. I don't care if we've been friends for years. If you do that shit, I'm going to ignore it until you get your shit together. I don't need it in my life. I would rather be happy. I've had my own problems with depression over my entire life, and the last couple of years have been very, very, very difficult on me because I usually got a really great big shot of serotonin whenever I met all you guys at a convention and did entertained people and did charity auctions and all that stuff. And after doing it for 6, 7, 8 years and then having it be gone was very difficult for me to go, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be in Seattle. I'm supposed to be in San Francisco. I'm supposed to be in Germany. Why isn't any of this thing happening? And just being very, very not happy for a very long time. I'm tired of being unhappy. I'm very tired of being unhappy. I don't want to be unhappy anymore. I want to talk to my friends. I want to go to things. I want to do this stuff. And we're on the precipice. We're really close to being able to start to go do stuff. I mean, Canada is starting to let people in to do stuff. Hopefully they'll start letting people out of Canada to go do stuff. And we're starting to see the end of the road. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. As long as we can stay the course, people wash your hands, don't sneeze on people, get your shots, and the more people that we can get inoculated, the more this is going to open up. It's I don't know. I'm just not going to argue that point. But anyway, please take care of yourselves so you're taking care of other people. If you take care of yourself, it'll take care of other people, and then we can get out of this stuff and get back to where we were and just having a good time and living our lives.
That's right. I fully support that. Yes, I want to see you folks at conventions. I want to know you're all doing well and are healthy. And really, honestly, in talking about freedoms, freedom from fear of how other people are doing, that's a special kind of freedom. And that's a gift we can only give if we are taking care of ourselves and our health.
Yeah. And again, it's society. If you're going to live in a society, you have a certain set of responsibilities to everybody else in that society. And yes, you're free, but you still have responsibilities to people in society, just like they have them to you. So please, take care of yourself so everyone else is as fine as you are.
Now, a few questions in the chat. VCSA Jen.
Yeah.
VCSA Jen? Will the video of Ponyfest be available, or is it live only? I believe that they'll do recordings and it'll still be up there.
Yeah, they usually do that.
So yeah, that'd be good. Ranch
Hog is saying, is anyone going to talk about the fact that the guards are just as bad now as they were in G4? I can't wait to hear Fireman's reaction. Ranch, they aren't quite that bad, because guess what? The Pegasus guards caught Sonny and Izzy. They were on patrol, and they caught them, and they put a tennis ball on top of Izzy's horn just because, and that was to spec. It was part of their training, and then they brought them before the Queen. So they actually did their job. They did their job.
And they went after the Queen. They actually pursued the party into the unknown.
Yeah, they pursued the party into the unknown, tracked the Queen, and found her, did their job.
Now,
I don't think the Pegasus guards were out of line. They did their jobs very well.
Although,
and by the way, the guard that talked the most was actually acted by brain not working. Shit. I'm sorry. I'll come back to it in a minute. But anyway, I think the guards did their jobs fairly well.
Most of them.
But and the girls escaping, they were with the princesses. So Jim Barrow, thank you. They were with the princesses. So the guards were like, well, the princesses are there. We don't have to be. Plus, look at the freaking jail. It's like, okay, I've got a massage chair. I've got a coconut drink. I've got, cucumbers on my eyes, which was a nice throwback to G4, right? Nice throwback to G4.
It was, but I was thinking more of Oliver and company. Hey, if this is torture, chain me to the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you get that reference, but by gosh, I'm thinking it.
Mm-hmm.
Although
they had food, they had drinks, they had couches, they had a massage chair. Throw me in that dungeon, hell yeah.
Synchrony, I think you mean that it'll come out spring 2022. We're in fall, and I think it's too late for the special to come out this spring. But with the guards,
unless they're already working on it,
I sincerely hope so. But with the guards, there are the two guards who were on their cell phones, and one was on a call. there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, there's always room for improvement. I mean, but the ones that were on it were on it. I thought it was pretty funny when she tried to go out the door and the one was on his phone going, no, you, and love, obviously talking to his significant other. It's like, no, you hang up. No, you hang up. I mean, if you've ever been in love with somebody, you've done that whole scene. I know I have. So, yeah, there's some room for improvement, but I don't think they're as bad as the Cantelot guards ever were.
Oh, it's a sad thing. Cantelot guards, maybe it's because they lighten the armor. The guards have now...
Well,
guards can now...
The Pegasi had no armor, did they? They just had their helmet.
Helmet and a little stripe down a metal collar. But that way they didn't have to lug that armor around, and maybe that's what was draining all the Cantelot guard attention.
Yeah, maybe.
But either way,
I love the fact that Zip actually figured out how to fly.
She did.
And she was that close. She had the whole thing on the board. She had the airfoil on the lower left of her chalkboard. She had figured it out. And if she had jumped off anywhere, she could have learned. She probably would have figured out that she could have floated just about. Right. So that's what she was doing with the fan. She was basically, falling with style. And if she had just jumped off the edge of Zephyr Heights, she'd have flown to anywhere, right? She was doing that. She was using some of that in her jumping all around the rocks, when she was chasing them. And I'm not sure she was really chasing them. She was just basically doing her exercise, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, there's two ponies here. I didn't even realize because they were in the middle of that fog stuff. So I'm not sure she was actually chasing them. She just they were there.
Actually, that brings up one trait of Izzy, Sunny, and Zip. I'm kind of surprised that Pip, I think it's just because she looks the more feminine part.
Mm-hmm.
Sunny, Zip, and Izzy are of a mind and a perspective. Pip is not. So
yeah.
Plain advertising. When any of these three look at something, they're excited, they're intrigued. They see the world differently than a lot of the other characters. And that's the trait of a genuine heroine or hero. It's not strength or intelligence or some special ability. Those are all tools. It's when they look at the world and everyone else sees impossibility and they see, well, a challenge, opportunity, something more that compels them to move. That's really what it boils down to when you're talking about protagonists.
Yeah. Well, again, we were talking about Hitch. Hitch doesn't need anything to change. He's fat and happy. Same thing with Pip. Pip is fat and happy. She's popular. She sings. She doesn't need for anything, right? She doesn't need to change anything. She doesn't want to change anything because if she does, then she's going to lose what she's got. Yep. Whereas Zip is all full of, I don't like lying to my people. I don't like this whole wire bit. I don't like any of that stuff. So she wants to learn how to fly. She wants to be, you could tell by the way she looked at that Wonderbolt poster, right? She knows something. She knows more than she's letting on. She probably has found that a place like Zephyr Heights looks like it has a really good library somewhere, right? So more than likely she's done some research. Especially being a science pony, she's done her research. She probably knows something about the Wonderbolts that she's not letting on. So, yeah, Pip doesn't need to change. Hitch doesn't need to change. They're fat and happy. The rest of them are looking at the world going, there's something wrong here. We need to fix it.
So I think it's very telling that Zip doesn't sing at all.
No,
that's a wild.
She's
thing.
not. She doesn't even have a phone, right? Seems like everybody. If you looked at all of Zephyr Heights, everybody's got a phone, right? Everybody's got a phone. Zip don't. Zip does not have a phone. So it's, in fact, her mom, the queen, The Queen doesn't, took the phone from Pip for a second and then threw it back at her. Turn that thing off. It's like she doesn't have one. She doesn't want one. Kind of thing. So it's more of a youth thing, but Zip doesn't want one. And you can tell that Zip's the older. We know that Zip is the older sibling.
Is the heiress.
Hello. She's the heiress. So who knows that the phone thing might be something completely new that the younger pony has. That the older ponies are like, oh, technology.
Although I have a hope for the series when it comes out. Though I don't know if because of the time production is going to take, if it'll seem petulant. I want Pip and Zip to really hash it out because I don't get their sister dynamic yet.
No, and that, again, if the movie was another 20 minutes longer, we could have got like 5 minutes of sister dynamic, which we didn't. It was kind of hard to figure, we know that, you had the thing with them in the crystal, right? It's like, you left me hanging there. Why didn't you help me? And it's like, why is this so important? And again, Zip didn't have the brain not working. Didn't trust her sister to tell her anything about what was going on. She probably hadn't even taken her down to the balloon place, right?
Yeah,
she's I'm going to show. She's going to show these two, the unicorn and the earth pony, this, but she probably had never shown it to her sister, right? Because that was her place to get away from all that, right? She wants to be away from her sister and away from all that.
Yeah, basically all of Zephyr Heights kind of belongs to her sister, the idol.
Right.
And this is the one place where Zip seems genuinely happy. But yeah. I did feel for Pip when she looks over and sees her sister just up and leave. I'd like to... So I worry it would seem petulant to bring that up in the series, presumably later. But at the same time, I feel like it's very critical interaction point that they should really hash out. I mean, don't you...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Don't you care that I was being whipped around like a puppet?
And again, Zip might have been thinking at that moment she's got like a split second to escape and make a choice, right? She's looking at her sister going, maybe that's what she deserves. Maybe she's finally getting what she deserves by lying to people for so long. Or something to that effect. I mean, I'm not trying to put thoughts within Zip's head, but if you got a split second to either fight or flight, right? You're probably flighting at that moment because you just stole the crown jewel, right? If I'm in Buckingham Palace and I'm stealing the crown and I've got a split second whether to save, what's his butt, stuck on a wire, or I need to get out of here before the guards get me. I'm getting the heck out of town. So,
that's called survival instinct, kids.
Yes, survival instinct. It's. I'm sure Pip is like really mad about that and doesn't understand it, but I understand it. And that's going to have to be hashed out. It does. Even later on, she's mad with Hitch is mad when they go past the tree and they come up to the bridge. But by the time they get to the fire pit scene, it seems to be smoothed over, right? Pip is not that mad anymore. And there was no reason for her to not to be mad anymore. So I think there's, again, a scene that got cut that would have explained why Pip is now on board. Whereas from the harshness of coming up to the bridge to we're now at a fire pit, why are you now fine with this? Where's the impetus that changed your mind? And we didn't get that. So again, we didn't have the time to flesh out Pip as much as we did Zip and the other characters. And that could just be cutting room floor. They thought that they didn't need it to get from point A to point B.
Or they're really banking, Well, someone's banking on, hey, leave something for the TV series to cover. Who knows? We'll know
Or maybe
in time.
maybe the TV series is going to go back to this trip and do some explaining. They might do an entire episode on certain parts of the movie. Why? I wouldn't see why they couldn't.
Do have a comment from Hallie Hope. More like Zip showed she was worried and upset at Pip's plight, but when ushered to run, she went with it. I do remember, well, I need to rewatch that scene tonight because I remember Sunny bumps into Zip, and that's when the crystal falls out.
Right.
But that's all I can't recall the exact sequence of events.
Yeah, she does that a lot. That's like when Hitch was yelling at her house and Izzy goes outside, I'll go talk to him. And she goes, we need to go. And she basically side tackles Izzy out of the way and we're gone. She did the same thing with Zip. It's like, we need to go. And all of that. And again, she's on her, we got to get this thing done. On. We got no time.
World needs saving.
World needs saving. Let's do it now. Again, there's a ton of room to expand on a lot of things. So that's, again, we have a series coming. If there wasn't a series coming, this would have been a more disappointing show because we wouldn't have gotten any answers. But because there's a series coming, you can almost excuse some of it. It's like, oh, we're going to get answers later, right? We don't need the answers now because we know the series is coming. So you can almost give them a mulligan on some of the plot holes in this movie.
And one question I have that ties into the hope that Sunny will continue her father's research. Did she have the journal with her as the fight was taking place? Because
which fight?
Well, as Sprout has gone insane and his giant wall.
Oh, right.
Robot.
Yeah, it's like that's another thing. She had started to put her things away. She put the light and the main 6 into a box. Then she was starting to take all the stuff off of the string board.
Yeah.
Right. She was starting to put everything away. She was starting to give up. And the book was either downstairs or the book was up there with her when she started putting everything away. I have to go back and really look in that scene and see if the book is there. I don't remember the book being there. But it might be. I don't know. If it is, then it's somewhere in the rubble.
Or I'm hoping it might still be in her saddlebag, as having had it snatched from her once, I hope she keep it close. That's like the one thing left that can really connect her with her father's research.
Right, but she doesn't have her saddlebag on when she turns glowy alicorn.
Oh, yeah, that's a oh dear.
She doesn't have that bag on during the entire sequence of putting everything away in the box and the lighthouse being knocked down. She doesn't have it.
Oh dear. Well then, I'm hoping
so
it's
the
in
book
part of the house that didn't fall into the ocean.
Well, I don't think anything fell in the ocean. I think everything fell to the side, the right side, which took out the bot, right? Because when Sprout comes out of the bot, it's on its side, and he comes out the door sideways. So the bot has been destroyed. I think the bot was destroyed because all the bricks fell on it. So basically, everything is down there to the right-hand side. So it can the lighthouse can probably be fixed, and because the lighthouse is the main advertising point of Maritime Bay. In fact, we saw that on a travel poster in the balloon airport in the Pegasus City. They're probably going to want to rebuild that. They're going to rebuild it, right? So they'll find everything that's scattered around, more than likely.
Here's hope. And
here's hope.
I could fully see that Cantor Tech or Cantor Logic.
Yeah. Cantor Logic, yeah.
They're going to have to rebrand really fast. And
well, it's the same thing that Spark Industries happened. When all of a sudden we're not going to make war stuff anymore.
Spark Industries, okay.
Not Spark. Not Spark.
Stark.
Iron Man. Stark. Thank you. Stark Industries. Needed to rebrand when Tony Stark went, I don't want to make weapons of war anymore. Right? So basically it's the same kind of thing. All of a sudden I don't want to make, mind-reading hats and stupid goggles anymore. I have to figure out some way to make money with all of these people in this plant. What am I going to do with that? So hopefully they'll figure something out.
I'm going to pitch an idea for that. Given if the main 6 toys that were wonderfully wood carved and strangely accurate, I could see them say, "Hey, can we make plastic toys of these?"
Yeah, who knows? I'm just like, okay, we never saw money in any point in this movie. There was no bits.
That's true.
You have all of these buildings, and you had a movie theater, and you had all of these other businesses. But at no point in this movie did anybody exchange money for anything. Right? So what is the economy? How did Cantor Logic get anybody to pay for any of this stuff for all of these years? You obviously had them pay something because you had this great big plant of making things, right? Which basically was up on the hill, which is one of the major buildings in the entire city. But where's the money? How does the money work? Do they still use bits? Did they take cards? It's like, what's going on? Again, something that was never explained. Which is sort of a hole. Yeah, we saw currency prices on the smoothie stand, but we never saw anybody pay for anything, right? We saw the guy give the smoothie over, but there was never any bits on the counter or anything like that.
And there was free smoothies at the Cantor Logic show.
There was free smoothies at the Cantor Logic show, so Cantor Logic was paying for the smoothies. And even then, she only brought one trailer of smoothies, which if you count, there's probably only 6 to 12 smoothies in that whole cart. And there was a lot more ponies there than that. Here's another thing. Where is everybody? Right? Where is all the ponies? If we went to Bridalwood, there wasn't that many ponies around. We went to Bridalwood, and from the pan shot, you saw a whole bunch of buildings, but there wasn't a whole lot of ponies. The big pony scenes were up in Zephyr Heights. You had hundreds of ponies in the background with these big, huge shots, right? But in Bridalwood and in Maritime Bay, you didn't see a lot of ponies, maybe 40 maximum. Where is everybody, right? There was way more ponies eons ago than now. You've only got 3 places, whereas in G4 you had many towns. You had Philadelphia, you had Detroit, you had Las Pegasus, you had all of these places that had ponies. Now you only have 3 towns. That's it. I don't think so. I think that these are just the towns that the story happened. I think there's more towns. It's just we didn't get to see them. I'm hoping anyway.
And we may find that they handled Equestria's shift, dissolve in different ways.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be fascinated if they came upon a town that actually kept the traditions going. And find
you have a whole bunch of them that said, screw you guys, we're gonna have a town with all 3 tribes, and you guys can go off and do your thing. We're gonna be over here, right? And then all of a sudden you got this utopia of places that has had magic the entire time, right? And just didn't want to give it back or didn't want to tell them how to fix it, because screw you guys, I'm taking my ball and going.
Or they are suddenly lacking in empathy. You know,
Yeah,
they
pretty
feel
much.
their own superiority. They don't realize, hey, these our fellow ponies need help.
Yeah. Maybe they tried for a very long time, and all those ponies said, "We don't want your," like Alphabettle. He says, "We don't need your kind around here." Right? And basically, it's a bit of racism. It's a bit of, you know, a bit of pulling back from the rest of the world. And you've got that in a lot of places. That in certain states in this union, you've got that in certain places in the world where they don't want outsiders. Right? Japan, as a nation, is slowly dying off. Right? They're getting older and older and older, and they don't have enough people to populate all of the towns and the villages and the cities that they have in that country. Yet, they will not open up their borders to having people come and live there and take jobs. So basically, they don't want any immigrants at all. They would rather stay pure Japan, and it's going to kill them. It's going to kill them off. It's going to get to a point where it's too late. And a lot of Japanese culture is work, 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 work. When's the time for the family? When's the time for families? All these young kids are going to the big cities and becoming salarymen and doing all this stuff, and they're losing a lot of heritage. They're losing whole villages in Japan are empty, right? There's a village in Japan that has like 12 people in it, and it's filled with dolls that they made human-sized stuffed dolls for everybody who's left or died in that village. And it's crazy, but they will not allow immigration at all, to come into that country. Or it's very, very difficult to come in there and work. So it's one of those things like, okay, you've got that style of insular within the unicorns, which is what I see. It's like they don't want anybody from the outside. We don't need your help. We're just happy being, jinxies all the time.
I will admit the first time they did their curse ward, I thought, oh wow, what is in the water here?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you get when the kid pointed at Hitch? Oh, you said a bad word. He sounded like the British kid pony.
Oh, Pipsqueak.
From G4. Pipsqueak. He sounded like Pipsqueak. I swear to God, that was the voice actor of Pipsqueak. Because it sounded exactly like him. I was like, it's gotta be.
I'm trying to think. I thought I heard that they had gotten kids from a local, I don't want to say production company. But some sort of acting
that would
nearby.
And because it was in Europe, because it was in Ireland, we got a British sounding kid to do it, right? And and sure enough, they got a kid that sounded like Pipsqueak, and he sounded just like Pip, and you said a bad word, and he was British, and all of a sudden, everybody but Alphabettle in Bridlewood was British.
It's very, very prim and proper.
Very, very prim and proper.
Oh, and they were at a tea shop, but then again, no, would have been a pub.
Well, it was sort of a tea shop pub game thing, a conglomeration.
Yes.
Right?
And I enjoyed
Hold the milk.
Just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit.
That was the best.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. That was the best scene where she says, hold the milk.
I was like, the look on her face was like, I'm trying to be a badass, but that's like, I don't know how.
Yeah, I took that scene as like a Western parody for just a minute. They didn't.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't try to put the music, and I actually appreciate they didn't try to force the joke like that. It just was. It spoke for itself.
Yeah, and then you had the poetry ponies. Round 1. Round 2. And it was sort of like, this is, the 15th coming of Maud Pie as a unicorn.
She is immortal.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it was either I actually made a joke that somehow the weed pony from G4
Tree hugger.
brain not working.
Tree hugger.
Somehow tree huggers DNA got into the unicorns, but we all know how that happened.
Dude,
it was her weekend ragers, you know.
Righteous.
Yeah, very righteous. Yeah, Maud is the Highlander. There could be only one. Oh, can you? Okay, my brain just went off on a tangent. Let me go. Right?
Yeah.
Highlander. You know, they make movies. They made movies in, you know, Maritime Bay, right? And they're Earth Pony centric movies. Could you imagine Highlander as told with unicorns, and their horns were the swords?
And you could only could be only one horn.
And you get more. There can only be one unicorn, which holds all the magic the unicorns have. And you have to cut off the heads of every other unicorn.
Ooh.
And you do the quickening every time it happens. It looks like magic, right? So basically, Highlander told with unicorns.
They call it the galloping.
Yeah.
The galloping is with me. I am every pony.
I am every pony. I know everything. I see everything. I want to go home. And they go back to Brentwood. Sorry, my brain just went there. As soon as somebody said something about the Highlander, it was like, oh my God. It writes itself.
How do you think most of my reviews take form?
Yeah.
Follow that tangent. Work it.
Work that tangent.
Oh, yeah. Tangent good. And there we go. I finally got my audience.
Crowd. Yay, audience crowd. Yay.
Yay. Excellent. Yes. Oh, my goodness. And it is 8:20. Oh, where I am.
That's 7:20 here, yeah. Yep, 8:20 where you are.
Oh, Red Gnome, you're the one who started this. Magnificent. But
yes, what you started. I need a fanfic writer to basically write that. You know, the entire. Well, only the first movie. Nothing else happened.
Yeah, no, nothing after that. Nothing. Don't.
Nothing after that.
We're all
nothing.
good.
Nothing in the Highlander universe ever happened past the first movie.
I'm happy. You're happy. We're all happy that there's only one Highlander movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna have to look into that. I'd love to see although. Because Bridalwood was like the least technologically advanced city,
which is weird.
I figure unicorns used to rely on magic to power everything, so they're behind everyone else.
Yeah, I would have to. I'd agree that. I would agree. Yeah.
But I could see them having a really classic slow motion. It's just a giant spinny wheel of photos going around a central light source, and they project it on the screen with an actual band. Playing the music and voice and maybe actors.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Something. Of course, then you get something like Highlander with unicorns, and Sunny and Pip and Zip and Hitcher just walk out of that what?
Yeah.
They're all staggering.
And then Izzy comes out and goes, none of that's true. Or is it?
Excuse me, I need to go test something. No! They'll just tackle her.
Yeah, funny.
Well, Dusty, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and everyone chiming in the comments. But I also don't want to keep everyone forever till the Highlanders come home. Do you have any final thoughts you want to express?
Final thoughts. Movie is not perfect. We knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but it's pretty dang good.
Yeah, not asking for perfection. I'm asking for fun. And I think it was fun.
I think it was fun. I think as long as you go into it, there are certain movies that you have to turn your brain off to enjoy. Turn your brain off a bit, and you'll enjoy it. Only turn your brain on after it. Just go into it, watch it a couple of times, make notes, say, we're going to come back to that next year when the series starts. or even maybe even do it when the special happens in the spring. We don't know. Hopefully, we don't have to wait too long.
Not too long.
But yeah, not too long. We're not going to have a 5.5.
No, we're definitely not going to have a pony life.
No pony life. Yeah.
That was not a tide me over.
No, I never even watched season 2. It's like I didn't even go looking for it. It's like, no, I don't need any more of that. Sorry.
No, none of that. Shame on you.
I'm glad my friends got paid for it, but I'm not gonna go search it out. So,
I mean, there were some things in it that I gave a little extra thought to, weird tangents of my own, which again, shameless self-plug, I will talk about tomorrow at Ponyfest Online. But it is something you just, it invites you to have fun. And yes, the questions there are dangling questions, and
that invites your imagination to run wild. And that's what you want from your art, is getting your imagination involved. That's what you want from your art. That's what you want from fine art. That's what you want from animation. That's what you want from movies. That's what you want from books. That's what you want from any type of entertainment that you want to put your time into. You want your imagination sparked.
Yes. And that's one thing I will always love about this fandom, how much creativity you see sparked by even just a scene, let alone an entire episode or movie. I mean,
I don't know if you've been watching, but somebody took the one scene where Pip is hanging by the cables just before she does her song, and because in one frame it looks like she has these short little stubby legs, all of a sudden this has become a meme. She's the short pony anyway, so they made her like that short. It's like all she has is toes. It's and again, people get their imagination starts running wild just from frame to frame to frame. It's like it's amazing.
If it'll give us a little bit of a break from the Twilight regular show shooting stars stuff, I'm all for it.
Oh God, yeah, all for it. I mean, that thing's been going on way too long.
I need a break.
Yeah, I need a break from that. And I didn't like regular show in the first place. So
never seen it.
Yeah, it's not the kind of humor that I like. So I know there were a lot of big name voice actors in it. Mark Hamill was in it, but I just didn't get it. And just that's like I don't get Rick and Morty. I just never got it. People think it's a great show. I never got it. So I don't get its kind of humor.
Gotcha. One last question from Kamodra Steel. Are you guys going to Ponyville Cider Fest?
I am not. I believe you are.
I am. They announced community guest status today, for which I'm very happy and thankful. It means now I can work on my announcement.
Yes.
Can't give away what I'm going to be covering at panels just yet, but I will be sharing a vending table with Commentary is Magic, my friends in the collectible card game, who have kept the tradition going. So
yes, I cannot go to another convention this year. I put in I took some time off earlier this spring to get my brain back together, but I don't have any more time left before the end of the year. So, but I will be at a bunch of places next year. So keep your eye out for a lot of places next year. Hopefully I can do Cider Fest next year. But we'll find out.
All right. Well, as we say, hope for the future, and we'll just keep on plugging and celebrating things we enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And I thoroughly enjoyed Dusty having you here, having you share your thoughts on the movie.
Yes.
And just catching up. So, folks, Dusty's Instagram and Twitter handles are in the description if you need. Are there any other social media sites you'd like them to check out?
That's all I really have anymore. I put up like one video on my YouTube a year, which is usually a Christmas special, and that's about it. So I just do the Instagrams and the Twitters, and that's about it.
Well, that's a good deal right there. So, everyone, I wish you just the best weekend. Take it easy. Enjoy the change in the seasons upon us, and we're about to get into the holidays. Looking forward to that.
Holidays. Hey, it's spooky season.
Yee.
Spooky season, yes.
And if we each do our part and look out for one another by looking out for ourselves as well, we can have trick-or-treating. Or actual celebrations. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
And in the meantime, everyone, I wish you just the best. Be safe and be well. Oh, go ahead.
I do too. Hopefully all you guys are having a wonderful year and taking care of yourselves so you can take care of others.
Yes, indeed. And with that, I'm Silver-Quill. Thanks for watching.
And I'm Dusty Katt. Stay brony, my friends.